first appearance docket. Would you just put your names on the record? Mr. Reedy's here, and who's at the main jail? Can you hear us at the main jail?
Yes, Judge.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
No problem.
Are you ready to start, or do you need a couple minutes?
I sure am.
Okay. We're going to start then with Jamie Lee Sabina.
Is she bonded, Judge?
Charged with driving under the influence of alcohol and leaving the scene of an accident. I do find probable cause. Next case is Shantavia Latoya Jackson.
Miss Jackson, come on up, please. She's approaching, Judge. She's here at me. Come on up, ma'am.
Ms. Jackson's here this afternoon for a petty theft charge. I do find probable cause for that offense of petty theft. Looks like the bond, convenience bond, was set in the amount of $100. Would you like to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Judge. My understanding, speaking with Miss Jackson, from what she advised me, this is her first arrest. If the state can confirm it, this is a misdemeanor offense, non-violent. I'm going to be asking the court to consider releasing her ROR. If, however, the state cannot confirm it, that it's her first arrest, considering still a non-violent charge, there's a presumption to be released on non-monetary conditions. I am going to be asking the court to consider releasing her on pretrial release. My understanding, she's 22 years old, been residing in our community her whole entire life. She will be coming back to court. She lives here in West Park with her mother, so I'd be asking for pretrial release, Judge.
State, do you have any priors?
There's no priors in Florida, Judge. The state would be requesting the standard bond amount.
Okay, based on the allegations in the probable cause affidavit and the lack of prior history, I am going to release her on her own recognizance. I am going to just release her on her own recognizance. Just, you're going to need to pay attention, Ms. Jackson. You'll be getting a notice in the mail to appear in court.
Also ask the court for a no return order.
As a condition of the release on her own recognizance, you're not permitted to go back to the location where this incident occurred. You understand?
No, if anything, I'm going to my mom's house, but I don't have no transportation.
No, this allegedly happened at the Family Dollar. You can't return back to the Family Dollar. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And Judge, I'm going to give her this. I was given this by my colleague, who I believe, Chief Judge, all the people that are released on their ROR. These have, as far as conditions, to contact your attorney, make sure that they go to court, and it has the website of the clerk of court's website to find out their future court notices, so they know when their future court date is. So
Okay, thank you.
first opportunity to actually give it to somebody.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
We have Marlissa Alexis Joseph.
She's here present, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Joseph is here this afternoon charged with robbery with a firearm. I do find probable cause as to that offense. State.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would be asking the court to find proof evident presumption great pursuant to the facts of this case, as well as a post-Miranda admission, Judge.
We would object to the court making a finding of that nature at this point in the proceedings. Proof evident presumption great is the highest standard of proof we have in the criminal justice system. In this particular case, all the state has done to meet that burden is introduce a probable cause affidavit. They've called no witnesses, introduced no evidence. I see notices in here that there is some type of video camera angle from the dashboard of the victim's car. That has not been presented to the state. I also see an indication that allegedly Ms. Joseph gave a statement to the police. We have not been presented with a transcript or a copy of that statement for the court to review. Also, it would appear, Judge, that for those arguments, Judge, we are making an argument that the state has failed to meet their burden of proof evident presumption great. If over our objection the court finds that proof evident presumption great does exist, We would ask the court to exercise its discretion and set bond for Mr. Joseph. Ms. Joseph, I know it is a very serious offense, obviously, but she did not have the firearm. I think that, and she did cooperate with police according to the probable cause affidavit and give a statement. In addition to that, as I said, she did not have the firearm herself. She was more involved in, if you take the evidence in the light most favorable to the state from this PC sheet, in setting the events in motion.
I have read the probable cause affidavit. I do, as I say, find probable cause. I do at this time find that proof is evident, presumption great. She would be obviously permitted to address her issue of bond with the judge who the case is going to be in front of. So at this time, that she's going to be held no bond. Need to just go off the record for, just need to go off the record for a minute. I'll be right back, okay? In the case of State of Florida versus Douglas Jerome Johnson, it was a case where he was released yesterday to pretrial release. It appears that he has established to pretrial release that he lives in Naples. Actually, it says Lehigh Acres. Is it Lehigh Acres or Naples? Naples? Okay. So I'm going to sign an order with, unless either side objects, that he be allowed to reside in Naples while he's on pretrial supervision. Okay? Okay, we're back on the record, and I have Jackie Levine.
Mr. Levine is here at Maine. Sir, come on up. He's approaching, Judge.
Mr. Levine is here this afternoon on a, looks like a Capias for $250 for a driving on a suspended license charge. I do find probable cause. The Capias is attached to the paperwork. I'll hear from either side, but otherwise I'm going to leave the bond at $250.
Judge, yes. Mr. Levine advised me that he acknowledges he was given he had an encounter with law enforcement regarding driving while license suspended back in March. He thought, Judge, that he was given a warning and he signed the acknowledging a form that he received the warning. But when I told him no, it was actually a notice or a citation, and he was going to get a notice in the mail, went to appear, and my understanding is he missed court on April. He was unaware, so he didn't knowingly miss court. So based on that, Judge, I'm asking the court if the court would consider releasing him ROR. Now, he does have prior contact with the system. He did tell me it's dated about over 20 years ago. So that is why I'm asking at this time if the court would consider an ROR on his behalf.
Unfortunately, I don't have a driving record for Mr. Levine, so I can't really look at that. I don't have any way to verify his driving record at this time. I do see that the address that he gave at his most recent arrest is a different address than that is on the Capias. So I'm wondering if he has if he lives in Lauderhill or if he lives in Pompano Beach.
He lives in Lauderhill.
Okay. Well, in light of the fact that the Capias has a Pompano Beach, do you have any priors on him?
Existing Grand Theft Auto, 98 ag battery with a deadly weapon, in 2002 possession of cocaine and delivery of cocaine. As far as his driving record goes, I'm not seeing any prior criminal traffic cases.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna release Mr. Levine on his own recognizance. I am gonna require him to be supervised by pretrial release, which means that you will have to report to pretrial release upon your release. And failure to report to pretrial release will result in your being, a warrant being issued. You understand? You still have to take care of this case, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so pretrial release is gonna be, you have to call 2 times per week after you initially report to pretrial release once you're released, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Just follow the instructions. There's a map how to get there and show up there tomorrow morning about 8 in the morning. Good luck, sir.
Next I have Noel Bello.
Bello, come on up, sir. This is Judge of Municipal Ordinance case. Come on up, sir. Speak to the judge.
Mr. Bello, you're here charged with consumption of alcohol in public. How come I'm getting all that feedback? That's a municipal ordinance violation. I do find probable cause. If you have the absolute right to have an attorney, if you'd like me to appoint an attorney for you, I can. If you'd like to resolve your case today, you could do that by entering a plea. If you wanted to do that, I would sentence you to 5 days in the county jail. Would you like me to appoint an attorney to represent you?
No. Oh, I don't need it.
What would you like to do?
Time served me, whatever.
Pardon?
Every time served me.
No,
Make it
it's not
time
gonna be,
served me.
it's not gonna be time served. Your bond is $25,
Okay.
okay? Robert Shelton.
Mr. Shelton, come on up, please. He's approaching judge here at Maine. Municipal Ordinance.
Also looks like this is a municipal ordinance violation.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon, Mr. Shelton, you're here charged with a municipal ordinance violation for trespass after warning. I do find probable cause. Your bond is set in the amount of $25,
Yes, ma'am.
okay?
Thank you.
Candy Bruce,
Mr. Bruce? Come on up, sir.
Brias, maybe?
He's coming up, Judge. He's here at Maine.
Is it Brias, is that how you say it?
Brayus.
Brayus, Mr. Brayus is here this afternoon, charged with operating without a valid driver's license and 2 separate violations of community control. I do find probable cause. Bond on the operating without a valid license is $25. It's being held no bond on the violation of probation. Looks like he has a hearing tomorrow on the violation of probation cases.
Good luck, sir.
Shelton Tremaine Wilson.
He's here present, Judge.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson is here this afternoon. Warrant for violation of pretrial release, looks like. And a capias on the felony charge. The capias is for failing to appear at an arraignment, and there's a no bond hold on that. And there is a pretrial release warrant where there's also a no bond on that from Judge Merrigan. I do find probable cause. Mr. Wilson is going to see Judge Merrigan tomorrow. Anthony Pita Cruz.
He's approaching, Judge.
Mr. Pita Cruz is here this afternoon on a capias on a misdemeanor charge out of Miami. Also has a case out of Dade County. The misdemeanor case in Broward County is a petty theft, and bond is set in the amount of $500. He has a hearing status to see his judge tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I do find probable cause.
Judge, I'm going to be requesting, as you can see on count 2, is the felony offense out of Dade County. So he has more serious issues in Dade County. He has a hold on him. I'm going to ask if the court would consider on count 1, the misdemeanor offense, if the court would consider an ROR, so that Dade County can come and pick him up. And also my understanding is being Mr. Peter Cruz, he from what he advised me, he never got notice as far as court date on the misdemeanor petty theft. So I'm asking for consider an ROR on count 1. If not, he'll be seeing his judge tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Yes, it looks like he's going to see his judge tomorrow at 9 o'clock on the petty theft charge.
Thank you.
Jamie Michael Pesci.
Mr. Pesky, come on up, please.
Pesky's here on a possession of cocaine charge, also a possession of drug paraphernalia charge. I do find probable cause.
If I may, Your Honor.
Yes.
As to count 1, this appears to be a residue case where a residue amount of cocaine was found in a pipe. The policy of the state attorney's office is not to file these as felonies, but as to file them as misdemeanors. So I would anticipate that when all is said and done with Mr. Pesci's case, he will only be facing count 2.
State, you want to be heard on that? I have found probable cause. I just would like to hear on his priors with regard to what his priors are in terms of holding him on that.
October 11th, 2019, from Cole. He's currently on probation for that case. Publicly picked up this case recently.
So he's on probation, there's no probation hold, and there's no warrant. Okay. All right, I'm going to, I find probable cause as the possession of cocaine. I'm going to leave the bond where it is. Charlton Anthony Roberts.
He bonded, Judge?
Okay. Charged of possession of cocaine, attaching a registration plate not assigned, and driving with a suspended license, third or subsequent offense. I do find probable cause as to all of those offenses. We have Shamar Demore Shelley.
Paul Run.
All right, you want to refuse?
Good afternoon.
You refuse. How you doing, ma'am? You
Good.
refuse.
You refused to come to court today? Looks like
Yes,
he,
ma'am.
okay, it's a misdemeanor charge. It's a corrected capias. Have both sides had an opportunity to see it? I think the public defender's office represents him on.
We do, Judge.
Basically,
He's
they
got a
just-
bunch of no bond holds.
Basically, what they're doing is correcting a capias that
Right.
apparently was incorrectly labeled, I guess, in the number of charges. So I'm gonna go ahead and, I've reviewed it, and I do find probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $100 on count 1. want to be heard as to count 2, the possession of electronic weapon or device.
That's for a reasonable bond or no bond if necessary. Right. As I say, Judge, he's got
The
a
number
lot
of,
of no bond holds.
Right.
So,
I'm just trying to see what originally, if there was a bond on the, he has a no bond on the violation of probation, the 5 cases that are pending, where he has a status of November the 12th. I just want to make sure that we handle the bond correctly on count 2 here. So it looks like it's a change of charge to possession of an electronic weapon or device by a convicted felon when originally it was charged as possession of ammunition. Is that right? Okay, so what was the bond originally? I don't have the original. Okay, I'll set bond on that in the amount of $7,500. And I do find probable cause. All right, so now we should go to the other docket. I have page 2, it looks like it is Cameron Posey. Cameron Posey, it looks like there was a motion filed for ROR, but it looks like the case has been filed. Right? Yes.
If that's,
The charges were filed.
okay.
So, what do we do, delete that, or how do we? Okay. Okay, so the motion for ROR is denied because the charges have been filed.
Sir, like I said, unfortunately, the state has filed charges, so basically, if this
Ne-
summon's denied, you'll be brought to court for an arraignment soon.
Next case is Michael Lee.
He's in Conti.
Copy, all right?
Mr. Lee is here charged with, or here for a motion for ROR. Looks like was arrested on September the 19th. The state filed a notice of intent to delay filing on the 14th of October, and as of today, have the charges been filed?
No, Judge.
Says the defense.
would move to have our motion granted, have Mr. Lee released on his own recognizance.
Okay,
I don't see anything else holding him.
I am going to grant the motion, 33 days have run. Has it been 33 days?
I have 33 on my end as well.
33 exactly?
33.
Yeah. So I'm going to grant the motion for ROR. Mr. Lee, I'm going to
Yes.
grant the motion releasing you, however, that doesn't mean that the state may not file the charges against you, so you need to understand you may still have to come to court in the future, you understand?
All right, ma'am.
So who's going to draft the order? You got it? Thank you.
It's been filed.
Okay, next is Lee Ross. Lee Ross?
It's been filed, Judge.
4 on, Your Honor.
Mr. Ross is here. Looks like a motion for release of ROR was filed. Have the charges been filed?
Yes, Judge.
They were when?
The exact date, yesterday.
Okay. I looked in CMS, not in Odyssey, and I didn't see it, so you have it see that it's filed?
Let me give you the exact file. On my
Sometimes what
notes, it says
happens
it's
is that
filed.
we send it, and the clerks, by the time they get it, they don't send us back. You know, it shows that they received it. You know what I mean? But they have to enter it in that computer.
Right, so that's what I need to see.
It's on Odyssey, Your Honor, the state's information as of today.
Okay, so I'm going to deny the motion for ROR. The charges have been filed against Mr. Ross. So, Mr. Ross, you should be getting word to go to an arraignment soon with your judge, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And next we have Robert Allen.
No problem, John.
North Broward? Okay,
How you doing, Your Honor?
good. Are you Mr. Allen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have let me see here. On Mr. Allen, I see an order signed by Judge Powell on October 10th, where ROR was granted on count number 7. And
Yes, ma'am.
that's the case, that's the charge he's here on today. Yes. Oh, okay. So, this needs to be deleted though, because he already was ROR'd, so we can delete we're gonna delete this from the docket. You were already ROR'd on this charge, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you, sir.
All right.
Bernard Sewell or Sewell? Okay, looks like Mr. Sewell, there's a motion for release on his own recognizance on this case. Looks like he was arrested on September 19th. Have charges been filed?
It's been filed, Your Honor. The clerks accepted it, but we're waiting for them to,
Reflected on Odyssey
reflect it on Odyssey, yes.
Okay, the charges were filed when?
Today.
today.
If you want to put it on recall, we could for a few minutes to see. But it has been filed.
Okay, well, I mean, does anybody doubt their word that it's been filed? Mr. Romero?
I don't.
Okay. So I'm going to deny the motion based on the fact that the state has represented that the charges have been filed in this case.
For the record, Judge, for Bernard Sewell, it is now showing up on Odyssey
Okay.
as filed.
Okay. Next we have, looks like Kenneth Mendenhall?
I've been advised, Judge, he bonded.
Okay. So you withdrawing the motion?
I don't think this defense never presented a motion, Judge. I believe it's.
Actually, I didn't see any motion in CMS. I didn't know if there was in Odyssey. I just looked in CMS. I didn't.
No, this is just on the second look docket.
Okay, we'll
I
just
believe.
delete it from the docket.
Correct.
Okay, Lanisha Bullard. Bond was posted to 10/22 on that. Just want to withdraw the motion on that as well. There was a motion filed on this one, I think. On Tina Short,
North Broward.
This is the second one.
okay, this is a motion for ROR.
Oh, it's the second look right now.
Oh, it's a second look, okay, it's a case.
They call them all the same thing.
They put them all the same?
Yeah, the second look.
Okay, it's a grand theft, fraudulent uttering false instrument, magistrate, there was a magistrate's hearing, a first appearance hearing with Judge Shear on October 20th. Bond was set in the amount of $1,000 on each of those.
Yes, that's correct, Judge. Ms. Shewart's never been arrested before, I'm told. And she's just having a horrible time getting a hold of anybody to bond her out. She does have the number of her boyfriend's mother. She has not been able to reach that person to try and make some arrangements for bond. Unfortunately, she suffers from a disability that prevents her from working. It prevents her from saving up any money, so she cannot make a monetary bond on her own. In light of the fact that she has no prior criminal history, I'd ask the court to consider placing her on pretrial release.
State?
State has no objection, Judge. It's fine to place her on pretrial release, but we are still pending verification of her residence.
Okay. I'll grant your request then to, I'm going to ROR her to pretrial release. Going to order that she report to pretrial release within 24 hours of being released. You need to go to pretrial release. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That's where the paper that you just got handed in your hand, that's where you need to go.
Okay.
And you need to go there within 24 hours. And then thereafter, you're going to need to report 3 times per week via telephone.
Okay.
And then you're also going to need to make any court appearances that you have. So you need to make sure that the clerk of court has your correct address.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right, good luck, Tina.
Thank you.
Alan, is it which?
Weish, I might.
Which? White.
Weiss is here at Main, Judge, approaching. Come on up.
How you doing, man?
Good. This is a, looks like a second look as well. Is that right?
That is correct, Judge. He's on the felony second look. As you can see, it's a drug offense. He has $1,000 bond. He came in during the weekend. My understanding is, being Mr. Weiss, his grandmother's not in a position to help post his monetary bond. Now, Judge, he's right now looking for employment. He's not working, so financially he has no sort of resource to post a monetary bond. He is living with his grandmother in Pompano Beach. My understanding, she has a very limited income and can't afford even using the services of a bondsman to help Mr. Weiss in securing his release. So at this time, Judge, considering this is a non-violent offense, I'm asking the court to consider releasing him on pretrial. And also with the added because it's a drug offense, we wouldn't object if the court wanted to do also impose random drug testing for Mr. Weiss.
My understanding is that he, on September 20th, 2019, was placed on probation
No.
on another case. Is he on probation?
No, ma'am.
Did you look at this case number?
Yes, Your Honor.
1801
Hang on. 1801.
276 3 CF10A.
For possession of Udalone
I thought.
on November 30th, 2019.
November 30th? No.
Sorry, 20th.
September 20th, isn't it? September 20th?
September 20th of this year.
Right. So he's currently on probation on a,
No.
From what he's advised me, and, I don't know what it reflects, hold on. I don't know what it reflects on Odyssey. He advised me he got a time served on
Yeah,
that?
time served. They told me 30 days time served.
okay, well, that's not what the disposition shows, just so
Oh, is it
you,
not?
I saw it on myself, I looked at it, and I've just asked the state to verify it. It indicates that he pled to a year probation on that day. So, maybe you want to look into that. But I'm gonna leave the bond where it is on this particular case. I have a couple of other cases here that was different. Let me see. Okay, it looks like I have, Percy Garcia.
Conti, Judge.
Conti, Your Honor.
Hello, how you doing, Your Honor?
Hi, good afternoon.
Hello.
What are we here for on this one?
Your Honor, I had already.
Hang on a second, let me hear from somebody in here. Percy Garcia?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so I just got this when I walked in, so I haven't read anything about it or know anything about it, so maybe someone can enlighten me.
I believe I can.
Not you, sir, someone
All
here.
right.
Let me hear from the state.
Yes.
I'll give you your chance just a minute, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
But it says on the docket, pretrial release. Okay, with an ROR? With a
Two ROR.
with a GPS monitor? Okay, so it can pretrial release tell me anything? Okay. No stable living place? Okay, it looks like Mr. Garcia, Judge Shear entered an order that you could be released to pretrial release on a GPS monitor, but because pretrial release was unable to verify any stable living residence, that you could not be released.
Yes, ma'am. The presiding judge, last minute, she agreed on the RR on both the charges without an ankle monitor. So I was held for an extra 48 hours, and they tried to clarify. The officer from the pretrial did come by and speak to me and realized the same fact that I was aware of.
Okay.
I'm originally from Dade County, but I've been up here for the last couple years as a student. I don't have a physical address. I've been staying in different places trying to make it. So
Okay,
they
well,
recognize that.
I'm being told that the order entered by Judge Shear on the 19th included a GPS monitor, is that right?
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, so
That was the detail that was not that was misunderstood. She agreed at the end of our session to do the RR for both charges with no ankle monitor.
well, I can't go behind what was done with Judge Shear unless I have some other reason to do so, but it looks like was that on a second look docket as well? That was originally?
It was originally hers, Judge.
Okay. So
And
originally,
she checkmarked a GPS monitor.
Originally, Judge Shear did indicate that she wants you on the GPS monitor, so,
Yes, ma'am. Initially, she did, and once me and the public defender stated my situation, she agreed to release me on my own recognizance with no GPS.
okay, so that request is denied here today because the previous order does include the GPS. So if you can find a stable place to live, you can be released. If you can't, then you're in a situation where you'd either have to post a monetary bond or do something else, so. Is the public defender's office representing him?
No.
No, Your Honor, Mr. Garcia signed 2 separate refusal forms
Okay, Mr.
indicating
Garcia.
he wished to go pro se.
So if you want to represent yourself, that's fine, but you need to file whatever motions you have to file, and the motion today is denied as far as any kind of change in release status.
Can I speak with the pretrial and agree with them for supervision then, Your Honor, with the ROR?
The order is in place, Mr. Garcia, and the order includes a GPS monitor.
Yes, I can provide them with an address to go ahead and comply with those orders,
Okay,
Your
well,
Honor.
if that's the case, then you can. So the
Okay.
pretrial will come out to see you and see if you can get hooked up with a GPS monitor.
Okay,
Okay?
great.
Okay.
Great.
Sebastian Hernandez,
Conti again, Your Honor.
okay? Mr. Hernandez is here. Is this a second look or? Second look. Looks like he's been in jail 37 days. What's his bond status?
Given what appears to be standard bond by Judge Powell, for count 1, it was $500. For count 2, it was $1,000, and then the rest of the counts, there's no bond amount.
Okay. Once again, since it's an add-on I just received, I don't have any information with regard to a driving record and/or any other information to try to make a decision. So, can anybody help me?
I don't have the driving record, but I'm just gonna say he was placed on the docket because he was violation of probation. They reinstated probation.
Okay. So is he represented by the public defender's office if he just had a violation of probation where he was reinstated? Was that a felony violation of probation? Yes? So he's currently on felony probation on a reinstatement is what you're telling me? Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You do not? Mr. Hernandez, did you have a public defender representing you on the case, the violation of probation?
Yes, ma'am. I got reinstated yesterday.
Okay. And you had a public defender representing you?
Yes, Nicholas.
Okay. Who's the judge?
Tim Bailey.
Okay.
They told me.
Let me
I'm
just,
sorry.
that's okay. Just let me hear from the state with regard to,
Yes, Your Honor, the state would be asking the court to maintain the bond as is.
okay. Mr. Reedy, you want to be heard or?
Yes, Judge, if the gentleman is on probation as it is, he's already being supervised just plenty from the circuit court from Judge Bailey.
What, I don't know what the terms and conditions of his probation are.
Well, I'm sure one of them is to not get arrested or drive on a suspended license, or I don't know if there's a condition that he not drink.
I'm in a sober house.
As part of the probation, you were ordered to a sober house?
Yes, ma'am.
Which one?
First step sober house.
Okay. So are they supposed to come pick you up or are you going to be released and go there?
Release and show up there as soon as open release.
Okay. I'm going to, what's he on probation for, please? I really need to know what his driving record is before I can make an informed decision.
It looks like bribery, cocaine, and tampering with evidence.
And what do you show for priors?
Ma'am,
I think in Brown, let me check. That's the
the only thing,
pending
that's the only thing that he has in Broward.
Broward,
Which one?
Just what he's on probation on and, the
pending,
DUI.
the pending misdemeanor.
And you show any other drive, can you see a driving history?
I won't drive. I'm in the sober house. I've been in the sober house for a year. I just want to be released and get back to my son and do things right.
How have you been in a sober house for a year if you've been in jail for 37 days?
Before that, I got released and I've been there for a long time.
Okay.
Judge, the only traffic criminal case I have on his driving record is a driving while license suspended from 2015, and that's not including the refusal on the current DUI.
How long is he on probation for? How long are you on probation for?
4 years.
All right, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance on count 1 and count 2. You're gonna be supervised by pretrial release, at least initially, and then if he wants to file any motions, he can file them with the judge that this case is pending before. I don't know who that is. Can you tell me who this case is assigned to?
The DUI case?
Yes,
It's assigned, I believe, to Judge Brown.
okay. So, the ROR, you're gonna be supervised by pretrial release.
Yes, ma'am.
And a special condition of that pretrial release is that you reside at the First Step Sober House.
Okay.
That you go there within 24 hours of your release.
Yes.
You understand?
Understood.
And you're gonna be subject to random testing.
Okay.
And you're gonna need to call pretrial release 3 times per week.
Understood.
And you're not to consume any alcohol
Got it.
or other intoxicants.
Got it.
Does he have a court date on this case? Has it been filed and is there an arraignment date?
Let me see. No, Judge, it's still pending.
Okay, you need to pay attention to the upcoming court date on this DUI case so that you don't miss court. You understand?
I gotta call the clerks of court.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Understood.
Okay. All right. I'll sign the order then today. Okay?
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. On counts, there's, what, on the other 3 and 4, was there a bond? No charge. So it's just on 1 and 2. Sebastian. that look like that concludes the docket? Okay. Everybody, anybody else have anything else? Okay. All right, we'll be in recess then.